You ever feel like there's a disconnect with your team? Even when you're all supposedly pulling in the same direction? It's a super common problem, these little invisible gaps that can form right under our noses. Well, today we're going to tackle this head on, using some amazing insights from the book Distancing. Let's get into it.
So let me just ask you straight up, are these invisible gaps weakening your team right now? I'm talking about those subtle misunderstandings, the feedback that never quite gets said, or just that feeling that the leadership is, well, kind of far away. These are the little cracks that can seriously undermine trust, communication, and you guessed it, performance.
The book actually gives this a name, leadership distancing. And here's the most important word on this slide, unintentional. This is so key. We're not talking about leaders who just don't care. Nope, this is about the common, everyday things we do that accidentally create these emotional, informational, and operational gaps between us and our teams.
And this quote, it just nails the solution perfectly. It's such a powerful shift in perspective. Instead of always focusing on top-down control, the leaders who really make a difference focus on building genuine, human connection. Honestly, that's the secret sauce to closing that distance.
Okay, so how does this whole distancing thing actually happen? Let's break down 5 of the most common mistakes. And as we go through them, just see if any of them feel a little familiar. The goal here isn't to point fingers, it's all about diagnosis.
But hey, just pointing out problems is only half the job, right? For every single mistake that creates distance, there's a powerful principle that builds connection. So now we're shifting gears from the problems to the actual solutions. And here it is, all mapped out. Problem on the left, solution on the right. Just take a look. For instance, instead of a leader just assuming everyone got the message after a meeting, a leader who connects will build in a feedback loop. They'll ask something simple like, hey, just so we're all on the same page, what's the next step you're taking? Boom, you close that gap of misunderstanding right there. Or what about leaning too hard on hierarchy? The fix is to flatten it in practice, pushing decisions down to the people who actually have the best information. You can see how every principle on the right is a direct antidote to a distancing behavior on the left.
Okay, that all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually use this when you're swamped on a Tuesday afternoon? Well, this next part is your action plan. We've got 4 concrete steps you can start taking like today to close those gaps.
The real goal here is to turn these into habits. So first up, build daily connection rituals. This can be as easy as starting every meeting with a quick personal check-in. Second, you've got to integrate feedback loops. Ask your team to repeat back what they understood. It's an absolute game changer for clarity. Third, push those decisions down. Empower the people closest to the work. Your job is to be an enabler, not a bottleneck. And finally, number 4, practice those courageous conversations. Schedule the one-on-ones, and hey, model a little vulnerability yourself. It creates the kind of safety you need for people to have real talk. So as we wrap up, let's just boil all of this down to one final core idea. What the book Distancing shows us is the true work of leadership. Here it is. Leadership gaps are rarely about incompetence. They're about neglecting human connection. This isn't some deep personal failing. It's just a correctable habit. And you know what? That reframes the entire challenge into something that every single one of us has the power to change. And so I'm going to leave you with this one question to think about. Based on everything we just talked about, what's the one conversation you can start tomorrow? Who do you need to connect with? What's one gap you can start to close? Because that one small step, that's where the real work of great leadership actually begins.